Today, we're going to talk about administrative leave. What does it look like? What are the benefits to you? And how can you use it to your advantage?
Welcome back, everybody, to the CD Financial Podcast. CD Financial, where health meets wealth. I'm Marcus C, your host. That man across from me is Chuck D. Chuck D, how you doing, man? You looking good? Are you getting some sun? You look a little tan today.
I am. If it wasn't for that, lighting for the podcast that washes me out, brings me back to my original olivish, tone. Yeah, I've got that. I've got a little bronze to begin with. It's kind of baked into the genetics, but yes, I have a little bit of a tan. You are correct, sir.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
I was out last weekend with the Eisman. We went down to North Salt Creek Beach. Becomes kind of it blends into the St. Regis Monarch Beach
yeah,
Club. Yeah, the northern part. Oh, that's right. You've been there with us. That's right. Yeah.
yeah. We've walked
So
that many a times. You, me, and I. In fact, the last time I was out there, with the three of us walked
love
that.
that beach. It's just, you know
Beautiful.
what? And it was a warm weekend, unseasonably warm, and so
Yeah,
the folks came out of the woodwork. They spilled out all over the beach, but we finally found a desolate-ish area of the beach. Yeah, and we put our chairs down, and I ended up doing a 5 minute cold plunge soak in there. Yeah.
nice.
And I read to Isaac from one of the books, and he was listening. It was pretty cool, right? Because I tried to flip the pages to show him the book because he reads so fast. But
Yeah,
I was reading to him from How to Make Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. It's a famous book.
good book. Yeah,
It is a good book. I need to apply it more and more. I could probably stand and listen to it while I'm driving like daily. So
yeah.
it's really good advice, right?
N-
Yeah.
Now that you say that, I got to revisit that book. It's been a few years since I've read it. I think I'm going to go back and revisit it.
It's highlighted like crazy in my copy. So there's that. Yeah.
Yeah, I will tell you real quick one other book that, and you saw me reading it once, but I'm going to recommend it to you. It's um, oh my goodness, Jim Quick is the author. It's on learning, Limitless. It's called Limitless.
Limitless.
I want you to jot that down. I'm going to text it to you later so you have that for reference. But I want you to listen because it deals with how to learn, and I think it's a fantastic book. We'll give Jim Quick a plug. He's an amazing individual with a great story. So if you
Cool.
haven't, yeah, read it. So.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, you ready to get into it today?
Yes, I am. Let's
Giddy.
go.
All right. Administrative leave. So you led off talking about, you mentioned it, administrative leave. A lot of people with the DRP, right? They accept the DRP and they go on administrative leave for a little bit. What's it look like? Let's start there, man. What's that looking like for them?
What's it looking like? It looks like, hey, I've got time to pursue other things. This isn't so bad at all. I like this administrative leave. But that's the key. You
Yeah.
can pursue other things. Let's talk about the nuts and bolts of it.
Giddy up.
While in administrative leave, you will continue to accrue annual leave,
Mm-hmm.
which is a separate thing altogether from administrative leave.
Right.
So you're not going to work. You obviously don't have to use annual leave if you want to go on a trip or you want to pursue other passions or plan for your retirement because you're already on sort of leave. You're just on administrative leave. But that's really useful because if you have 15 years or more of credible service, then you're getting every 2 weeks you're getting an 8 hour uh, paid day off,
Right.
and you will get that in the form of a lump sum check at the end. If you're retiring 9/30 official date, then you're going to get a lump sum check, and it's going to accrue nicely. If you're retiring 12/31 on administrative leave, you're going to get 3 months more of annual leave, and you'll get it in the following year in January. Typically within 14 days. This is going to be another podcast because I suspect there's going to be a major bottleneck, and so does everybody else with everybody that's accepting the retirement and DRP. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting in October, November to see who's getting paid December, and then again in January, February, March. It's going to be very interesting. But
Yeah.
annual leave, you're going to keep accruing it, and as we said already, of 3 years of service. Past that, you get 6 hours of annual leave, 4 hours if you only had 3 years of service. But yeah, there it is.
So
Most people on DRP are going to have 15 years of service or more, and they're going to accrue one paid day vacation every 2 weeks. Go ahead,
now
tell me.
I'm glad you brought that up because essentially if you have annual leave and you're still accruing it on the administrative leave, you're still getting that and sick leave, right? So at the end of the
That's right.
year, or when that retirement date hits, whether it's 9:30 or 12:31, uh, you get credit for that, and it's going to come as a lump sum payment for both of those things, right?
That's right, and could be feasibly large. If you had 240
Yeah,
hours carrying over into this new year and uh, you earn 208 hours, right? Then that looks a lot. We have an annual leave video. You might want to click right here and you can uh, learn more about that. But if you had the max carryover, that's you could be taking out 1/5 of your pay in your retirement. Yeah, it's going to be tax heavy, but at 1/5 of your pay, it's pretty nice.
yeah,
And look, you don't need to use your sick leave, so that's just going to accrue. And every round, 174 hours accounts towards another month or length of service.
yeah,
And a little strange thing there too is the partial month could feed into the partial month when you started service. So if you started on the 15th of February, if you had, I don't know, 6 months and 14 days of sick leave by the time you're out September 30, those 14 days will complete that partial month that you started February 15th. It's kind of a mind job in numbers, but suffice to say, you're going to accrue the sick leave. You don't have to use either the annual leave or the sick leave because you're on leave already,
right,
administrative leave, and
right.
you're getting paid for it. So essentially, you're working without working.
I
So
like it.
it's kind of like the vilified Elon Musk said in December when we did that episode.
Yeah,
Oh, and you can look back to it. Marcus, you and I did that.
yep,
Here's a link to that video right here. And he basically said, "Hey, coming up, we're not just going to cut them loose and give them nothing. We're going to give them a severance package of sorts." I think he said. Well, this was a severance package, the administrative leave. It
yeah,
just was the first DRP was just presented like horribly.
yeah,
I don't care which side of the aisle you're on here. It's not a political statement. I'm telling you, it was not presented very well.
yep,
Second DRP 2.0, yes, it was
yep,
presented to human beings in a dignified manner, in a manner that recognized the years of service and the respect that was due to federal employees and their mission. So it was nice to see that. Yeah. And so the administrative leave, that's how it looks. Your annual leave and your sick leave will build up. So, what was the other part of that?
So the other part, and I'm glad you mentioned because as part of this explanation, you talk about accruing annual leave, accruing sick leave, but you just said it a couple times. You know, if you want to be sick now, be sick now. You're not taking sick leave anyway. Or if you want to travel or do something else, right?
Okay.
Take
So,
advantage of that. You're getting paid. You can go,
yes.
visit the grandkids, visit the kids,
All right. So now
go
we're
to
on to
Hawaii.
I agree. Let's talk about how can you
So
make it count, right?
yeah,
Well, that's one way you can enjoy yourself. But let's talk about some practical ways, okay?
all right.
There might be a lot of things that need done on your home that you've been waiting on, that you might want to go paint the kitchen or the outside, or you might be handy and you want to start redoing one of your bathrooms, or you want to remodel your home and even if you're not doing the work yourself, it takes a lot of work planning.
Yep,
You got to land the right contractors, maybe, or maybe you want to hire a general contractor, or you've got to figure out what finishes and what colors and what tile and countertops and plumbing fixtures. So this is, sinks. It's going to take you some time. You might be planning on relocating, and you can arrange your affairs now.
yeah,
I've told it's kind of ironic when you live along the coast. I tell people if you're going to move to Texas or Nevada to avoid taxes, that's where a lot of folks go when they retire.
yep.
You might want to live there and maybe in like July and August
Yes,
to see what it's like first.
yes,
See what it's like. And Marcus is very enthusiastic about this. Do
yeah.
you want to know why he is, folks? He's trying to prevent any more people from California or anywhere else moving to his glorious Austin metropolitan area, which
Let
didn't
me
get
just throw
built.
this out there. There's other spots in Texas that are nice to live. I'm just going to say that now.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Oh man, that house we looked at, the homes we looked at, what was that? The Hill Country west of Austin with you
Yeah,
there?
yeah, you're on the hill country.
Yeah. Yeah, but it would have been a good idea just to buy it, but I don't think at the time we had those kind of resources 20 years ago for a second home anyway. But
Yeah.
yeah. So you can arrange your fares. Go visit the place where you thought you wanted to relocate to.
Yep.
The reason I say it's ironic is because when I'm teaching in Barstow, uh, I'm already in the desert. I'm halfway between here and Vegas, and I don't have to say a word about. Well, if you're going to relocate to Nevada, maybe you want to go check out what it's like to live in the desert. They're there already,
They're
right?
there. Yeah.
Yeah. If I go up to the high desert like Edwards, it's like they're there already, right?
Yep.
Lancaster, Palmdale, right? Yeah, they know what it feels like, right? But for you who don't, check it out first.
Yep.
Arizona is another big time hotspot to relocate from California because it's just so inexpensive. Yeah, there's state tax, but I think it's a flat 2.5%. So it's pretty inexpensive. And there's things in Arizona and Nevada that are less expensive than Texas.
Yeah.
I believe property taxes might be one of them. Yeah, because
Yeah.
those can be pretty stiff.
Texas makes their money off property taxes. So
Yeah, yeah, that's right. They make it all up there. So you might want to arrange your house. You might want to fix it up so you
um,
can sell it for top dollar. And that might take you some time. So during your administrative leave, you can put your home up for sale, arrange your affairs to relocate. You know, loaded up the truck and they moved to Beverly. You could get, you can visit other areas, like we said, and
yeah.
make your time count.
Yep.
Here's something you might want to be doing that I think is really smart.
What's
You
that?
might want to get a written retirement income plan in place
There you
while you're
go.
on administrative leave. Right? You might still be sitting at, I don't know, 100% in the C fund at the TSP and just swinging it all out there. But folks, should your retirement check in retirement, if you're planning on using the TSP for income, should it go up and down every month according to the performance of your TSP? Well, let me ask it a different way, Marcus. Does your paycheck every 2 weeks fluctuate with the performance of the stock market?
I sure hope not. If it does, you may need to reconsider what you're doing for work. But yeah,
You might want to, yeah, you might not be able to make your mortgage payment. But
yeah,
yeah. So should your retirement pay fluctuate with the performance of the stock market?
no,
No. So get a plan in place.
yeah,
And as we've said before, you got to lay the foundation of that financial house. It's got to
yeah,
be built on rock, concrete, so it cannot fluctuate. And that base of your home is where you're going to build the rest of your financial house. But
yep,
that base is where you can pull income from, and it should be very stable, not open to market fluctuations.
right,
And then you can build the walls and the roof of your house with index funds and stocks, individual stocks and stock investments for later growth, for inflation years from now.
yep,
So that makes a whole lot of sense. 3 to 3.5 years from retirement, you should be building that chartered retirement course, your CRC. You should start to build that financial house. And
yeah,
that's what we do here. And so we've got a lot of folks on the calendar that want to talk and are scheduled already.
yep,
So I mean, don't forget, with a simple text of your name and your email to 949-359-5100. That's 359-5100. Just your name and your email. You can get a complimentary 15-minute phone call where we can figure out where you're trying to go and if there's any area where you can be helped. It's so very rare that somebody can't be helped.
yep,
Believe me when I tell you, there is always some nugget that you can take away just from that short phone call of an area that you should be paying more attention to and you could fix
yep,
with a little help, a little elbow grease, and a little planning. You can have a written retirement income plan. So
yep,
that's the luxury of being on administrative leave. Your benefits accrue for you, right? You're you're not stressed. You're not forced to any timelines with your mission, and you can start to plan for your retirement. We mentioned some things that you can do, right? If you're going to
yep,
relocate, and if you don't have a plan, get one, put it in place, especially if your retirement savings is going to be used for retirement income, which is what the majority of folks use it for.
Yeah.
It's for retirement income. Yeah.
I'm going to add a couple things to what you said because a lot of benefits there. I mean, that there's a lot to unpack in that. But I'll just mention a couple of things. One of the things that Elon Musk mentioned early on about this whole arrangement was the idea of a stimulus to the economy based on getting more entrepreneurs out there starting their own business. Well, administrative leave, you're literally getting paid to do that, right? If you've always had it in your head you wanted to start your own business doing whatever it is, you're getting paid to do that. So there's very little risk. Most of the times you quit your job, you start a small business. If it fails, you've lost your money, you've lost your time, and now you're out there looking again for work. Whereas right now you can do it a little with more of a safety net beneath you, right? You have a little
Thank
something
you.
to develop with.
Thank you
So
for remembering that because you're right. Some of you are young. We're going to do another episode on inflation. And
yep,
in that episode, some of you may put a plan together. You may access us for a plan, and we may come to the conclusion that you still need some income. You
yep,
still need to defer your retirement savings till later. You may need to get a part time job. And that can be a time period, as Marcus pointed out, where you can start to pursue that necessary but enjoyable
yep,
part time work that you've
yeah,
always imagined you wanted to pursue. And or you'd be amazed what $1,000 a month sometimes can even do to relieve your retirement savings and help you to defer things so
yeah.
that you can have true success. So there's everybody's circumstances are different, as we've mentioned
Yeah.
before.
I'll,
Yeah.
I'll throw out a quick story just to add to that. We were talking about this the other night, Sharon and I. We met this guy downtown one night, downtown Austin, and he had a little hot dog cart. And his hot dog cart was genius. I'll tell you why. He gave away hot dogs. So he buys a cart, he goes to Costco, gets the packs of big packs of hot dogs, buns. They're free. So by doing this, he doesn't worry about anything, right? He didn't have to license it. He didn't have to, go get all this paperwork done. He's giving away hot dogs. No law against that. He's got a tip jar, and we're watching him. He gives away a hot dog. People are pulling out tens, 20s, dropping his tip jar. I don't know how much this guy was cleaning up. Friday night, people are coming out of the bars 10, 11 o'clock at night. He's giving them hot dogs, and they're just dumping money in his tip jar.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I
It's like,
love the business model.
yeah, it's like what a genius thing he did, and they can't say anything to him because he's literally giving away food. No law against that. So
That's crazy. I
yeah,
love it. Well, do we have a health tip that matches or goes in line with free hot dogs?
maybe I guess depending on how you look at it. What do you know about rucking? Do you know rucking?
Can you spell it?
Rucking, not
How do you say
trucking, but rucking.
rucking? No, tell me about rucking.
So and now you deal with a lot of military, so they're familiar with that term, right? You've heard rucksack, right? Guys
Oh, I
put
thought
on
it was
their
a
rucksack.
rucksack.
Yeah.
Oh, I
So
thought it was a rucksack. Is it rocking or rucking?
rucking, so rucksack. So
A
the
rucksack.
idea
Okay.
is walking around with weights on you. Essentially, you can get a weighted vest, you can get a backpack, put some books in there. The reason I wanted to bring this up is because a lot of times people postpone starting a workout routine because they go, well, the gym's not convenient. I don't own weights or whatever. If you own a backpack, you want to throw some books in there, go for a walk with it. Burns
Yeah.
calories like crazy. It's good for you. It builds up your endurance. You're not running, so it's a little softer on your joints, a little easier on your joints, I should say. And it's great exercise. Now, you ex-military may be looking at me, probably cursing under the breath the idea that I'm suggesting they continue to do this because they might be thinking those days are behind me. But great exercise, and again, we'll look for ways to get people out and active that don't require a lot of effort in the sense of I don't have to drive to the gym, I don't have to pay a membership. I'm just grabbing stuff, throwing it on my back, going for a walk. That's it. So
Ah,
get out there and get rucking, man. That's
I
my
like
health tip
that.
for today.
That's funny. I was just this week walking on the beach in the morning, and I had a light backpack on because I had the
Yeah.
idea that I was going to go ahead and Plus, it kept me warm because I just wore a t-shirt, and it's surprisingly cool in Southern California. Even as we approach summertime, the mornings are typically pretty cool. right?
Yep.
In the upper 50s, lower 60s, and then it warms up. So by 11 o'clock, usually the marine layer burns away. So I had a light backpack on, and it keeps me warm. I had it for another
Yeah.
reason, and I had shorts and undies and a boxers and a towel in there because I was going to do a cold plunge. But then I kind of chickened out anyway.
Well, I'll tell you this: when we lived in New York, and I lived there for a long while. When you would go out in the city, the first thing you do is grab a backpack. You put your books. You can read on the subway. Your bottle of water. You know, if you want a light jacket, if it warms up, you take your jacket off. You throw it in there, or if you need a sweater for later on in the evening, that sort of thing. But that was just normal. You didn't go into the city without a backpack on. And essentially, that's what we're talking about. You put on a backpack with some weights, or if you want to buy a weighted vest, you can, and just walking around with some weight on you. It's really
Just
good.
walking too is just so good for you.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
the cross patterning, yeah, back and forth, left and right.
yeah.
Okay, Marcus, this is a good one.
I love it. Thank you very much for your time as always. And folks, we recommend you get someone on your side that's going to help you through these things. So you got the link below, and Charles mentioned the number earlier, 949-359-5100. Text with your name and your email, and we'll set up that free consultation. Thanks for joining us again on CD Financial Podcast, CD Financial, where health meets wealth. Marcus C., your host. That man is Chuck D. Thank you, Chuck. Appreciate you, brother.
You better believe it. And congratulations to all you that are going to retirement. Looking forward to helping you.